Welcome to First National Bank's Coach's Corner with Tony Tone and Muscatine High School football coach Jake Mueller. Listen online at vintage931.com or on your smartphone with the free Vintage Sound app. Let's start the show.
Oh, yes, sir. Just like that. 8 o'clock on the dot. We are on time for the First National Bank Coach's Corner. Tony Tone, Muskie football coach Jake Mueller off the air talking about homecoming, which is a week behind us, but boy, oh boy, was a nice, well, how do I say it? A nice victory, I guess, to keep it respectable. But, Coach, you start off homecoming, and it was cool because you had shared something on Facebook. It might have been like this weekend or Monday. It was a bunch of highlight video clips from the game. Mm-hmm. And I listened to the game on the radio, and it was nice to be able to see those clips. And I would have been there, but both my kids were sick. So a couple pick sixes. It just kind of seemed like, I don't know if you can say it was a statement game, but when your team comes out and they're hitting it on all cylinders, you kind of expected to have success against North. But how do you feel when it's that kind of victory?
Well, you kind of have a plan or an idea in your head how you would like a game to go, and scoring early and taking control of the game is kind of, some of the things I wanted to get accomplished, and that happened. And so from that perspective, it was good. It's always good when you score in three different phases, offense, defense, and special teams. And, a couple interception returns for touchdowns always gets the team kind of fired up. And, we had that early with Jackson Folk. That play got us going. And, Derek Webking made a nice play later in the game and had one, and then Alfonso had a nice punt return, and so those three big plays, and then I think every touchdown on offense were also big plays, and so everything just happened really fast, and it's obviously a good way to how you want homecoming game to go. Sure. I don't want to make it sound like we played awful, but as a coach, there were plenty of things that our staff saw that we need to get corrected. So, I think I keep hearing from a lot of people about how well we played, but there was many correctable errors that we need to get corrected for sure.
And that's your job, and I get it. And I know that you can also enjoy a win.
You have to.
Right, but you also can't just except if someone missed a block or if a play broke down and it shouldn't have, or whatever the example is. It's nice to be able to be like, hey, great game, here's what we need to work on, and we're erasing that one because I don't know if you're describing tomorrow's game, as the biggest one of your season, but it sure seems like it.
It is, and I have.
Yeah, good, okay.
Yeah. There's no question about it. Our kids, they're smart. They know. Yeah. They know the importance, and so there's no reason to hide it. I've described it. It's a playoff game. It's 3 weeks early, but it's a playoff game. There's no question about it.
Sure,
it's the most important game of the season, and it's got high stakes, and really that's what you work hard in the off season for. You prepare for. That's why you do everything that you do to get ready for games like this, and it's a big one. There's no question about it. I think playoffs aren't going to be in the picture for us if we don't find a way to win the game.
Wow.
And you don't want to think about it that way, but
sure.
At the end of the day, it is what it is, and so you got to go. And Iowa City High is ranked 5th or 6th, depending on the poll. So one of the best teams in the state, and we've got to go there and beat them on their home field on their homecoming. Jeez. So we're looking forward to it. I think it'll be a tough challenge, but like I said, if you're a competitor, that's what you want.
This is great. I mean, it's really a true test for your team that plays good football, and I really think that you're going to spoil a homecoming tomorrow, and it is so important, and I hope that people listening can appreciate that because of the change to the district and how many teams they'll take for the playoffs. This is a game that has a lot on the line, and I wonder, as you've prepared this week, some strengths that City High has that you're aware of, and that that are going to be a challenge coming into the game tomorrow.
Yeah, really, they're a well-rounded team. They don't have a weakness per se.
Sure.
I think if you're looking at their strengths, I think the biggest obvious strength is their quarterback, Nate Whelan. He is 6'3", 220.
Wow.
And he's committed to playing football at Northern Illinois, so he's a Division I quarterback. He looks like Tim Tebow. I mean, he really does.
Sure.
He runs the ball with strength and power, and he's fast and he can throw. So you have that. Plus, he's got a talented running back and really good receivers. And so, our defense definitely will be tested. And then their defense flies around and they're physical and they're fast. And they have 5 guys back off their team from last year that started on defense. And
wow.
So, we're going to have to play really well. I think it's last 3 years we've gone, it's been a last possession type game with us. So it's gone back and forth. And, I don't expect anything different. I think it'll be a tight ball game. And, hopefully we can make a few more plays than they do.
On their offense, to touch on that for a second, are they a run heavy? What's their balance? Because if you have a quarterback like that, that can be challenging for your linebackers, because this is a guy that, like you're describing, can run the ball himself, hand it off, and then if you have at least a decent receiver. So, but from what you've seen from this team, from this City High team, is it like a 70-30 run over pass, or what? What's the breakdown?
It's probably 60-40 pass.
Wow.
Or no, I'm sorry, run.
60-40 run, okay.
And if you look at their stats, it's kind of crazy how their offensive stats are almost identical to ours as far as we've each scored the same number of touchdowns. The quarterback's percentage of completion percentages at the exact same. The total rushing is almost the exact same. The total yards is almost the exact same. So it's very similar as far as the type of offense, as far as the productivity, and they're tough because they have a quarterback and running back that can run the ball, and then 3 to 4 really talented receivers.
Jeez Louise, this is going to be a good one tomorrow. Listen, we're going to take a super short break. We'll come right back. First National Bank Coach's Corner with Muskie head football coach Jake Mueller. Huge game tomorrow. Muskie's hitting the road to Iowa City to take on City High. Remember, you can listen to it on our sister station, KWPC. Stand by.
Hi, I'm Sharon Hahn, Vice President of Real Estate Lending.
And I'm Alicia Nur, Real Estate Loan Officer at First National Bank.
Our team is dedicated to making the home loan process as simple and convenient as possible for customers, whether you're refinancing or purchasing your first home.
We accept loan applications at both our West Side and Oakview North offices, and also offer after-hour and weekend appointments to better serve you.
Be sure to stop in today to meet our new real estate team and see how a home loan with First National Bank can get you moving.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to First National Bank's Coach's Corner on Vintage Sound 93.1.
9 minutes after 8 o'clock with Muskie head football coach Jake Mueller in studio. Muskies tomorrow night under the Friday night lights. Weather should cooperate. During the day, at least, partly cloudy, 64. Coach, that means you'll see temps in like the upper 50s, which I don't know if that's, if you care about that. At least it won't be rainy or super foggy or anything weird, right?
Well, you never know until you're there, So,
what kind of atmosphere is it? Because I've never been to a game at City High in Iowa City. Is it intense? Is it easy to be distracted or not? Give us that sense while you're on the sidelines. Obviously, you're focusing on the game, but when you walk in, what kind of atmosphere are you walking into?
Well, generally, we've had pretty good turnout of Muscatine fans, so hopefully we have a repeat of that. It's kind of a cool place. It's a place that they've had a lot of tradition, a lot of success there, and so they do a good job of keeping up with their facilities. However, like the visitor sideline area is not the best, and so I think with all the rain and stuff, the field conditions might not be the best. It's kind of a similar setup to Muscatine, where they've got a really nice field turf practice field right behind their stadium,
okay.
But the game field is grass.
Okay.
I expect especially with their homecoming, to be a really cool high school football atmosphere, and hopefully we travel well and play well too.
Yeah, please go to the game if you can. If not, listen to it on the radio. So Iowa City High, biggest game tomorrow, and then you're back home for the last regular season home game a week from tomorrow, and that is also going to be like senior night.
Yep, that'll be senior night.
So Davenport Central will come in for that game. And I don't know anything about Central, but it seems like they do have some athletes on that football team. As you haven't even probably started to prepare for that, but with that Central game and it being senior night, it's kind of like is a senior night game. Are emotions higher during a game like that or homecoming? From your perspective,
yeah, it's a little bit different, I
Sure.
think. And senior night's just it's different because the emotions are just a little bit different, and then also a lot depends because a lot of times it's the last game of the season or one of the last games, and so there's a lot more writing on it generally.
Sure.
And then homecoming is just kind of chaotic, and people are crazy, and sometimes kids forget they practice all week, and that happened last week. So, it's just different.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, there's 3 games left, and it's crazy to say that out loud. Iowa City High tomorrow, next Friday Davenport Central, and then the regular season will wrap up on the road in Clinton. So, and that's really it. I mean, does City High, the rest of their journey, what does it look like after Muscatine?
So they play Bettendorf the week after us.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Good.
So we would need Bettendorf to beat City High.
Yes, sure.
So if we beat City High, and we'll need Bettendorf to beat them as well.
Awesome.
So one of the tiebreakers, if you have all teams with similar records, one of the tiebreakers is there's a 17-point margin of victory.
Okay.
So that plays into it. So Bettendorf did beat us by more than that. So that's one of the things that you got to be aware of
Sure.
also. So. If you're winning a game and it looks like you're trying to run the score up, you're just doing what's best for the team sometimes. So
That makes total sense. So we'll all become Bulldog fans next week, at least for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just for a moment.
that's fine.
I don't like saying that out loud.
Yeah.
Muskie football tomorrow on the road, Iowa City High. Big game. Please go. If not, listen to Brian Musell, Jim Miller on the radio, but it is a short drive from here, and the weather is going to cooperate. So go support the Muskies as they take on a tough opponent, and then get ready to wrap up the regular season. Thanks for your time, as always.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Muskies, Iowa City High. It's a big one, ladies and gentlemen. We hope that you'll go and support Coach and the boys as they get ready to make a run for state.